How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a phenomenal weekend. And here we are back again to talk about how society is fucked up. But I just wanted everybody to know, I hope you had a good weekend. Today, we are talking about how weight loss surgery is being reborn as metabolic surgery. Now, it's been a term that's been talked about for several years now. It's metabolic surgery because weight loss surgery, that's fucking shaming, apparently. I find it amazing that we're at this stage where, if you look at society, we can't even admit to ourselves that it's an actual fucking issue. I wish I could get across to people how ridiculous all this sounds. I mean, how people could possibly in some way misconstrue that we are at a stage in society right now where personal responsibility seems to be just out the door. It is no longer a reality for most people. I'm literally in the middle of a little Twitter war with these people who are insisting that obesity is healthy. It's so mind-numbing sometimes to deal with this stuff. It really, really is. But yet, I feel that it's necessary because I don't see that many people taking too harsh of a stance on it, when in fact it is the majority of what is hurting our society right now. I can almost push back everything from the economy to climate change to everything from obesity. And the issue that I'm seeing with this new terminology of metabolic surgery and weight loss surgery, and there's going to be a radical, and I'm telling you, I've predicted it, and I've meant it, I truly mean it. I'll say it again. In this next year or two, the push for weight loss surgery, metabolic surgery, whatever I fucking want to call it right now, and harsh pharmaceuticals that have high side effect profiles that don't actually address lifestyle issues is going to be fucking huge. I mean, it is going to be just enormous. I wish that I was not right about this and many other things. That's the thing. I wish I wasn't right about this and many other things. But I am, and I have been. That's the sad portion of this. If nobody can see how they're being fleeced by the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry right now, I don't know what else I can say, but just be as diligent as I fucking can in trying to make sure people know that this is just not healthy. It's just not healthy for people. I wish we could, in some way, discuss real life matters, about all this shit. But nobody seems to want to. Nobody seems to want to actually discuss these things. I'm looking for the article right now. Give me 1 second. Oh, I know where I can find it. Put it on my Facebook too. But we're gonna let a few people join. We're gonna let people join the chat here. And let me see here. Here we go. So I'm gonna say hi to a few people. Janet, how are you doing? Jessica, how are you doing? Fox. Richard, how the fuck you doing, man? Emma, welcome. Metabolic surgery, that's problematic, and I got the gastric bypass almost 3 years ago. I don't like that terminology at all. I don't either. It's not metabolic surgery, that's for sure. It's actually anti-metabolic surgery. You're actually cutting out portions of your metabolism. There's two different kinds. Let's see. Surgery. And I can find what I was talking about here. because there's two different kinds of metabolic surgery, technically weight loss surgery. There's the gastric sleeve, and then there's the gastric bypass. And to a great degree, I mean, it is. I can't even believe that people are discussing it. You know, I mean, that said Park is the don't fix the issue with the Band-Aid. No shit. Even Camp Barbie, how are you? $3.5 billion spent on snack food in the U.S. last year. $3 trillion spent on chronic disease, with 90% of that being likely lifestyle related. It's just insane. Kenesha, how are you doing? Elizabeth J. Smith, what's up? And hello, how are you? What did you do? Fox. And a warm day in February in Indiana. Kids are off to school. Their butts are currently running around the backyard. Oh, very, very cool. Very cool. So I just want to start off. We'll start off with this very first article. Here it is. So this is the article from February 10th that I'm going to put up. So let me pull it over here. So this states, metabolic surgery helps protect against COVID-19 complications. Now, I did tell everybody. So somehow or another, here's what's going to happen. People should open their minds to this. They have fattened the population up. But by they, I mean very rich people and very large corporations have fattened our population tremendously. We are huge. We are very, very, very fucking fat as a population. You know how I know? I've been to Walmart. And all kidding aside, we know statistically we have gained a lot of weight. We absolutely have. It is amazing to me that we are still in the sector where we know that obesity is such an issue. We know that obesity is such a fucking issue for the current pandemic and just lifestyle-driven illnesses to begin with. Again, 90% of chronic illness is avoidable by lifestyle change. Chronic disease is a $3 trillion burden on our healthcare system. 3 fucking trillion a year, 1.7 million lives a year. 90% of that could be avoided. 80 to 90% of this stuff is lifestyle driven, lifestyle related. To not focus on lifestyle mitigation is kind of disgusting. I mean, that it breeds people to be completely in denial and subservient, slaves to the healthcare industry and pharmaceutical industry. They want you fat. You know how I know they want you fat? They promote it. They promote obesity as healthy. They promote obesity as not unhealthy, but also as fun and awesome and glamorous. I mean, it's pathetic. But anyway, this was from February 10th, 2022. Metabolic surgery helps protect against COVID-19 complications, which is just full-on insanity. In people with obesity, weight loss achieved through metabolic surgery was associated with improvement outcomes after COVID-19, according to a study published in JAMA Surgery 2021, December 29th. Now, I will say this. If you lose weight without metabolic surgery, it's going to show positive results also. The findings come from a cohort study of 5,053 adult patients who underwent weight loss surgery from January 1, 2004 to December 31st, 2017 at the Cleveland Clinic. Now, I want to know, this is what I want to know. I want to know how in the world, how that is possibly, and I mean in any way possibly seen, that it's COVID-19 related when the study was done and ended at 2017. It's disgusting. I mean, like, that's ridiculous. I mean, like, so these people are basically saying they're using an old study to show that if you lose weight, you are less likely to develop other issues. If you lose weight from anything, you are less likely to develop other issues. At no point in time am I seeing that these surgeries, that these things are in any way, let's see here. Here's another one. Metabolic surgery, a paradigm shift in type 2 diabetes. You know, I mean, They're basically going to discuss and use metabolic surgery. Haven't we been saying that for years? We have been saying this for years. We absolutely have. Yesterday, I was blocked by a ton of these fat activists on Insta for my mental health. And let me say, watching your content restores my faith in community. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. Let's see where to go to again. One more time. Oh, this is crazy. This is how they're going to treat it for type 2 diabetes, right? There are multiple different kinds, background, methods, conclusions. The conclusion, although studies are needed to further demonstrate long-term benefits, there is sufficient clinical and mechanistic evidence to support inclusion of metabolic surgery among anti-diabetes interventions from people with type 2 diabetes and obesity. To date, the DSS-2 guidelines have been formally endorsed by 45 worldwide medical and scientific societies. Healthcare regulators should introduce appropriate reimbursement policies. That's what this is all about. Do you know how to avoid getting Mexican beer flu? Don't test for it every day. Exactly. They are affirming the role of obesity in disease. And wait, what is the burden? Obesity or surgery? I did not want to be obese, but needed help to do anything about it. Without surgery, I was a ticking time bomb for complications and higher results. Why did you need surgery to lose weight? I'd love to hear that. You needed surgery. You did not need surgery. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. I do think that metabolic surgery, whatever we want to call it, weight loss surgery, gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, or even the whatever. I do think that for some people that need to spare a little bit of time to save their own lives and learn how to adjust their lifestyle, that it helps them save their own life. Nobody needs weight loss surgery to lose weight. Nobody needs weight loss surgery. They choose it. Weight loss surgery, a huge portion of people regain the weight. This is what they don't want you to say. Like, you still need to change your lifestyle. You still need to change the habits that made you obese to begin with. It does not all of a sudden change the fact that pizza is still pizza. You know, that's incredible. And the burden obesity puts on society is immense. Lifestyle-driven illness is the biggest burden for deaths and cost in the United States, bar none. Bar none. If we adjusted lifestyle illnesses that obesity drives, the inflammation that causes type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease and osteoarthritis and neuroinflammation and all sorts of things, if we address those things, we would save trillions of dollars and millions of lives. 1 million lives a year at least, and trillions of dollars a year in healthcare expenses. Trillions. If people don't realize that obese people are literally cash cows for the pharmaceutical and food industries and every other industry, they are the largest consumers of everything. It is consumption. Let's see. I had a sleeve surgery 2 years ago, lost 50 kilos and didn't gain since then. I've changed my eating habits and amounts of food that I consume completely. So glad I did it. I am happy for people that do it, okay? No shit. And to me, that is a very good thing. I'm happy that if you get good results and can keep them off, great. However, we are literally starting to promote this stuff as almost the thing to do. They're promoting it to teenagers. Give me a second. me one more second here. I have that article somewhere too. Yeah. If you don't like the word need, fine. I suppose I didn't need it, but I did need help, and that was the only form that was finally effective. Yeah, but the thing is, was it finally effective? Like, did you change your entire way of eating? You know, I mean, are you? I understand that for some people, some people it does help. There's no doubt, but you didn't need it. Like, at some point in time, the habits that made a person obese need to be addressed. Like, nobody, like, people make themselves that way. We're talking about weight loss surgery as a treatment for type 2 diabetes by rewriting people's stomachs instead of not eating uh, sugar and processed carbohydrates. It's insane. I mean, it is completely devoid of actual logistical reality. For those who were obese, is the comorbidity for another serious illness that made obesity worse. Hey, Alan, you've been in healthcare for a long time. Have you personally witnessed after gastric bypass surgery any neurological related inadequacies absorption of vitamin D, thiamine, vitamin B1, thiamine? I've seen many people get have trouble with tooth loss, hair loss, that sort of thing from malnutrition because they continue to eat low nutritionally dense food in very small portions, and they lose a lot of weight, but they also are not getting nourished correctly. I just ate several plates at a buffet and I hurt. I couldn't imagine eating like this every day. Like obese and diabetes, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, it's a race against time. I agree with that. I really do. Alex Jack, how are you doing? And let's see. What were your habits before the surgery? Did surgery force you to enact these changes? Because that's my thing. A lot of times they don't even make changes like weight loss surgery. Hang on a second. Metabolic. Because I am like I will state again. Do I think this like I know several people from the show Family by the Ton that got metabolic surgery. They needed it, absolutely. They absolutely did. But also, I mean, many people need to realize that this is a temporary thing. I mean, most of them, if they do not change their habits, will absolutely gain most of the weight back, and then they're really fucking screwed. Like really fucking screwed. Where is the one I'm looking for? Here's one. This is clinical outcomes. Oh, excuse me. I have binge eating disorder and I have to help myself, and therapy helps. I agree. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Looking into the damn light. Oops. I weighed 392 in December, and surgery never crossed my mind. I'm down 33 pounds this morning, and I never intend to use surgery to continue. I'm going down to 220, 230. Good for you. Good for you. We can help you too, by the way. I mean, we have many clients that are your size that we have very good results with, so we could help you. Give me 1 second. And for those of you that are interested, here is our live coaching special and 30-minute consultation coming up right now. It is temporary. You don't work at it exactly. I completely agree. Alan, since I started following you, things have gone for the better for my blood pressure, weight management training, etc. It's because of you and other channels like Athlete X that my life has gone for the better. Other stuff like that. Thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate it. I really do. And let's see here. Here we go. So this is the different types of surgery that they have, right? So right here, this one, sleeve gastronomy. This is where they take this portion of the stomach, and I wish I could blow this up a little bit better. Okay, here we go. They take your stomach, which should be right here, and they cut out this portion of it, and they just kind of reroute and make it through. This one is a gastric bypass. It's a reroute. So basically your stomach is here, and they take a small pouch portion at the very top right here of your stomach, and then they reroute intestines to that. This is a gastric bandage or gastric whatever. This is the lap band, basically. These have very serious negative outcomes. The band sometimes dissolves, all sorts of stuff. It's very, very, very serious. I don't like. I've known people that are screwed up forever from that state. And I'm not saying that it's not something that you shouldn't listen to your doctor about. I am saying before I would decide to ever get anything like this, rewrite it. I mean, how is it so hard to understand the negative outlook? We're talking about going under anesthesia, which for most people, by the way, has its own risks. I mean, duodenal switch and lap band, yeah. That's what I was just talking about. Mini gastric bypass too, exactly. Have you ever encountered issues with personal trainers at the gym, especially Planet Fitness, YMCA, who intentionally give their clients poor, insufficient nutritional info to keep them paying? I haven't, because I don't fucking talk to those people. But anyway, you're basically, when you are, I can't even believe I got to say this, but isn't it some type of almost mental illness that you are willing to have your stomach rerouted to avoid, to lose weight, to avoid taking responsibility for yourself? Like, it is such a dangerous fucking thing. How are we here? I just don't understand. Like, the danger of this, to lose weight. Why do we not view people that are even applicable for this surgery? And a lot of times it's people that are just of 40 BMI or up, which is a very large person, or 35 and up that have type 2 diabetes and those sorts of things. Like, we need, these are the criteria, right? Why do we go immediately to surgery and harsh pharmaceuticals versus we impress upon people that they maybe shouldn't eat processed carbohydrates? Like, I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. These people, almost all of them, could lose weight if they only ate whole foods. If they only ate whole foods in their entirety, without like just cooking them in a pan or roasting them in an oven. If they only ate whole meats, vegetables, and fruit, they would lose weight to a healthier weight. Absolutely. Not one human being I know that has that much trouble with weight literally does not indulge in processed carbohydrates. People need to learn self-control. I agree. Having your internal organs boogered instead of putting the donuts down. And I'm not saying that there's not some cases where some people might benefit from the surgery. I of course think that I know people that have. What I am saying is, even the changing of the wording to metabolic surgeries, we can't even talk about weight loss. It's metabolic surgery. They need it metabolically, because they'll be like, well, it's my metabolism that has me fat. No, it's the amount of food you eat plus your metabolism plus the activity you do that has you fat. You know? My spouse is morbidly obese and he keeps overeating. He gets so mad if I mention it. I feel for you. I'm so sorry. The balloon is BS. Did it before the surgery, and it does not. And it does not work the long run at all. Most of the time, the surgeries don't work at all in the long run either. I'm not saying they don't for some people. I mean, Amanda from Family by the Ton has kept her weight off and continues to lose weight and that sort of thing, and that's great. But most people get about a year of dramatic weight loss, and then they regain some weight. If they don't adjust their lifestyle issues, it's an issue. Like it should come along with absolutely come along with counseling first. You are literally voluntarily getting a piece of your anatomy partially amputated. There should be therapy ahead of time. It should be a last resort, an absolute last resort. I'm not mentally ill, but there has been a mental attachment to food. Food addiction is just another addiction. It truly is. It looks horrific. I didn't realize how drastic it is. The gastric bypass is done like they take your stomach, which is normally like this, right? Let's say it's your stomach, and it comes down from your esophagus down to here, right? They just cut it into this little pouch, and then they take your intestines and reroute it into the pouch. I mean, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. People are looking for quick rather than they really are. It's looking for a quick fix. Reason I ask is when I worked at the YMCA, our personal trainer would intentionally put obese clients at only 250 at a 250 caloric deficit to ensure weight loss was slow, since PT was a monthly payment. Weight loss weight loss is weight loss. I personally think that slower weight loss is better because people like a person that is 400 pounds is going to lose weight at a more rapid pace than what they would normally. Now, 250 calorie deficit is first of all, a wild ass fucking guess, because nobody can be like, oh, it's exactly this. It's not an exact science. It's a guesstimate, just based off of the guess of the portion size, based off of the guess of the quality of the food and the quantity of food. Like when you read a food label, that is an estimate. It's not a fucking definitive. It's an estimate. They didn't actually measure that food in that packet, because if they did, they wouldn't be able to use it. So they measured the weight of it, and then from the weight in suggested variance of calories is what they give. But I've never experienced that. I'm not. Most personal trainers that you would find at these places don't know shit from shit to begin with about weight loss. They know how to get people. They know how to work people out. That's it. I do think food addiction is real. If there was a surgery that stopped people from using heroin, I bet people would do it in a heartbeat. I just think there needs to be a lot of therapy afterwards. Gastric bypass does not stop food addiction. It just absolutely does not. It simply does not. So, I put my best. Let's see. Psychotherapy is required by pretty much all surgeons who do bariatric surgeries. You aren't a candidate if you don't do it. I don't know. I mean, a lot of these places nowadays aren't. Like, to be real, you don't need to be a specialist to be a bariatric surgeon. You can go to a weekend seminar and just fucking do it. So a lot of these people, a lot of these places do. It is not that way. Oh, thank you very much for the tip. I had a gastric bypass, and it's not a magic pill. I have lifelong digestive issues associated with it, and thank you for adding that, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. It is not. I mean, it comes with its own set of issues that can be very, very, very severe. I hope you nothing but the best, and I'm glad you. Thank you again for speaking up. I appreciate you. I had a gastric bypass back in 2010. At the time, seemed like the best option for me. I did change my life and have kept it off. However, not without issue. And I'm happy that you have kept it off. I really, really, really am. Rebranded procedure for popularity should be illegal. Just put in the work and get counseling. For some people, that again, like I said, like if you're 500 pounds, you've shown, like, it's not like you haven't tried to lose weight if you're 500 pounds. I'm not saying that person shouldn't likely get some sort of gastric bypass or surgery or something like that. I'm not saying that because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist. I am saying that us just kind of promoting this as the way is exactly what I said would happen when I saw that the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry was trying to literally take over and enslave people. Like, you're going to be on medication for the rest of your life if you get gastric bypass. Like, you're on medication almost for the rest of your life. You're going to be on some sort of, you are going to be medically compromised at some point for the rest of your life. You are in a medically compromised state. You have had such a severe surgery and rerouting of your actual internal organs that you are going to need to basically have care and checkup for a long time. I had to see a psychiatrist twice in the process, but shouldn't there be like long-term therapy for it? That's my thing, because twice is not, if going to a psychiatrist, that's to get cleared for the surgery. You know, like my thing is shouldn't that be a thing where people like are constantly, you know, constantly like getting therapy for it? Because I'm a big advocate of getting therapy for food addiction. I saw a therapist for at least a year. It's a necessary part. Good, good, good. It is not for every surgeon. It's just not. It's not for every surgeon. 250 calories a day is better than 1,000 calories. You aren't going to crash. It depends on the size of the person. If you're used to eating 5,000 calories a day, which many of these people are used to eating 5,000 calories, and if they reach homeostasis at the 5,000 calories and they reduce it to 1,000 calories, you're still eating 4,000 fucking calories a day. Frankly, if you switch a person over to minimized food when it comes to ultra processed food, 3,000 calories is a lot of food. A lot of food. If I knew it then, if I knew then what I do now regarding diet and exercise, I don't think I would have made the same choices. I mean, but you've learned and come from it, so I'm happy you're healthy. Do you really think following diet and exercise could, for people that are over 300 pounds? Food addiction is a powerful thing. Look at the studies at how the brain affects sugary foods. But the thing is, getting a portion of your stomach cut out doesn't change that. It just doesn't. I wish I had known back then what I know now. Gastric bypass messed my body up. I'm very sorry to hear that. Small changes over time make it better. I completely agree. I'm 16.5 years post-op, 23% body fat and fit. But that said, every other person I've known with surgery regained some or all. But I am one of the less than 1% that my GI tract was messed up from birth. I'm sorry to hear that too, by the way. And congratulations on keeping the weight off. I would never want to promote it as anything to do with than a super last resort. That's what I'm saying. It's a last resort. And right now we're making it seem like, oh, metabolic surgery is good for diabetes. It's good for prevention of COVID. Like, it's been 2 years, man. I mean, now we're just starting to talk about, we still don't even have our public health officials, quote unquote, talking about weight loss. I mean, it's fucking tragic. I work as a nurse in the bariatric program in Canada. Health Canada requires that all bariatric programs have a requirement for social services, psychological behaviors, and dietitians. That's excellent. It is not that way in America. I can guarantee that shit. I can guarantee it. So, at my heaviest, I was 300 pounds. Food addiction is crippling. Education and sustainability are the tools you need. It's now a full-time job, currently 167 and still working on it. Good job, Barbie. Fucking great. That's a fucking hero right there. That's a hero. And all of you that are commenting about your weight loss surgeries, trust me, I am not saying, like, in my mind, this is how I'm viewing it. I'm viewing it that the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry is taking advantage of people by very much making it seem like these are just perfectly safe and fine, and there's no complications, and it's just a little rerouting of your stomach, and it's just a small 3/4 of your stomach being removed in some cases. Like, that's the thing. That's the craziness of it. That is crazy. Seeing as much therapy as I did with my choice, I was only required to do a consult. That's congratulations on denoting that too, by the way. Anyway, I went through 7 months of crazy hoops. It should be. It absolutely should be. It absolutely should be. Bread is my weakness. You need to know what your weaknesses are and understand them. Bread is one of the most binged upon foods. It's pizza, then bread, and then ice cream, then pizza, then bread, then ice cream, then cheese, I believe, are normally the most binged upon food. Pizza is the most binged upon, abused food in America. Hands fucking down. And my wife and I were just talking about this. It has been over 18 months since I've had a slice of pizza. I love joining these lives just to hear all the amazing wins from the community and to hear Alan drop knowledge, of course. Thank you very much, and I really share your wins. So I should have said crazy hoops. A lot of hoops are necessary. I agree. I agree. But that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be something that we're just saying, hey, get this for yourself. Like, why is this being promoted on so many other things? We literally have people. I wanted to check that. Real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm checking something. Check something real quick. My question is unrelated to the discussion, but what kind of diet I need to follow to build muscle? And should you feel guilty over eating sugar while bulking? Because I just did. Since it's not related, I'm just going to skip it. Alan, unfortunately, you're not well informed about the metabolic and psychological changes that happen in the surgery. It's not just restriction. The surgery changes your hunger hormone production. Yes, it absolutely does. I'm very familiar with it, actually. 100% familiar with it. I very much am. I'm also saying that food addiction and bad lifestyle habits the hunger hormones are fueled by them to begin with. So while I understand what you're saying is that you think I'm ill-informed by it, I'm very informed that it does change. Like, for instance, a duodenal switch reverses type 2 diabetes. It stops it immediately. It absolutely does. It doesn't change the fact that the person was abusing themselves with food ahead of time. That is the issue. I am stating that anybody that is morbidly obese has much more than just a physiological issue with food. They have a psychological issue with food. That's what I'm stating. So let's see here. She's still 350. We could possibly help with that, for real. Anyway. The hunger hormone can change. The hunger hormone change is only temporary in some people. In some people, though, personally, it came back after 18 months, and that's what normally happens too. There's normally a year of very consistent, a year to 18 months of very, very, very serious and consistent weight loss, and then it kind of pops back into normal. So, did I get blocked? I thought I had a pretty relevant question. I didn't see your question. I know you didn't get blocked. So I don't know. Maybe YouTube blocked it. I don't know. But, nope, I didn't block you. Food addiction isn't just about feeling hungry all the time. It's emotional hunger. Exactly. Is there a medical reason why liposuction isn't as common as bariatric surgery? I believe liposuction is something like it's a very fucking serious surgery, from what I understand. YouTube blocks some of my stuff too. Yeah, I mean, YouTube could be blocking it, because it's purely cosmetic. There's no medical benefit to liposuction. I mean, cheese contains desomorphine, which makes people addicted. I think that people, what happens a lot of times too is people get addicted to the dopamine rush from sugar and from ultra processed carbohydrates. So it spikes their insulin levels and spikes dopamine, and they get used to that. It's like how people get very used to eating sugar at the same time of day, and then they miss it when they cut it out. Anyway. What advice would you give someone who wants a secondary surgery bypass after failing with the first sleeve? My advice would be to talk to a psychologist ad nauseum, at length. That's why. Why don't they recommend bariatric surgery after 65, but will give you lipo or tummy tucks? I have no idea. I found intermittent fasting really helps me. It helps you. It helps a lot. It helps some people. It doesn't help others. Just to be honest with that. Lots of these things are all about chemical imbalances causing cravings. I agree. I agree with a lot of what you said, and honestly, I started following you while doing my prep for surgery. I like your blunt, honest, and putting accountability to the individual. But continued. I'll wait. They're just starting to understand the reward system of the stomach. The brain can and probably does rewire itself. That's what I'm saying. Like, the thing about weight loss surgery that I do like, it does buy some people some time. The people that are successful with weight loss surgery are the ones that take their nutrition and exercise regime very seriously afterwards. That is what I can tell you that I've seen. They make a change, an actual lifestyle change. They use the time, the normal 18 months of very serious weight loss, they use that time to make a very serious systemic change. They stop eating highly processed carbohydrates. They stop drinking their calories, and they actually make a change in their lives. When used with caution and care and preparation, surgery can save life. I say that often. I say that often. However, it is not. When you are talking to a group of addicts, like this is like if they had, I can guarantee you this, if they had a surgery that reduced the amount of alcohol an alcoholic could drink, but told the alcoholic that didn't tell the alcoholic that they actually stopped needing to drink alcohol, that person would still end up being an alcoholic later on in life once they got to the point where they could still start ingesting the same portions of alcohol. The stomach only stays small. The stomach still it is the same ridiculousness. It's the same ridiculousness. The type of patients that come into the clinic with diabetes, transplant potentials with obesity and hypertension, sleep apnea issues, ignorant about exercise. I completely agree. Almost 3 years post-op, I'm doing great and don't plan on going back. Good for you, good for you, good for you. I am not the person I was 2+ years ago, and I'm so grateful for the change that took place. And again, you're one of the people that have taken it seriously. Like again, I know, as I said earlier, I know tons of people, not tons, but I know several people that have used weight loss surgery to change their lives, and that they needed it in order to get a hold of it. They just absolutely did. They did. I've also known a way larger portion of people that have gotten bariatric surgery that have regained most of the weight and still eat like shit. Is this the real Alan Roberts? The fuck do you think? Who the fuck would it be? Fucking weirdo. Actually, watching shows about food helps me not to overeat. I actually religiously watch my 600-pound life. What are the rates of failure and infection afterwards? They're not going to be releasing most of those, and I don't even think they have it. But hang on. I'm pulling it up here. Give me a second. Just one article on it. Internet fast didn't work for me, but it works well for you. Go for it. It doesn't work for everybody. It just doesn't. Some people like some people need the mental comfort of it. I personally don't. I haven't eaten yet today. I'm not even hungry. But again, I've just started taking our supplement again too. So, seeing the avocado kind of reminds me of what I don't want to eat. Exactly. Give me a second here. So somebody asked me, actually, this is a very good question. Here's weight loss surgery. This is National Bariatric Link. And when gastric bypass fails to deliver results, well, the success rate of gastric bypass surgery is extremely high. And when they mean extremely high, they do mean in the very short term. There are some who will not respond favorably to bariatric technique. In some cases, this could be caused by failure to adhere to the doctor's instructions. These instructions include avoiding the consumption of high-calorie foods and drinks and not to snack between meals. In other words, in other cases, the bariatric patient's failed attempt at weight loss could be blamed on the surgery, whether or not the assessment is inaccurate. While no operation is 100% guarantee of success to deliver significant weight loss, gastric bypass surgery is an excellent weight loss tool when used correctly and according to doctor's orders. Let's see. There are many factors that can be blamed for gastric bypass patient failure to lose weight. The most common being disregard for doctor's orders and dietary advice. When patients ignore the bariatric post-surgery instructions and partake in high-calorie foods and drinks on a daily basis, their weight loss results are quickly sabotaged. So without without change, it is exactly what I said it is. It just fucking breaks down. So What supplement I take to reduce hunger? The one we're about to release in a couple weeks. Colicia McKillen died because of the direct complication of the surgery. It's not, I mean, you're having 3/4 of your stomach cut out. It's fucking crazy. Why not rebrand health, starting with children and future generations? Many food addicts start early and continue early education. I wanted to point out something here. I wanted to go to something. Give me a second. Because this is, I truly mean this one thing, by the way. So let me pull this across. This came across this morning. These children were all labeled healthy and that have passed away from the CV-19. These are what people consider healthy. I'm going to be real honest. Those children were abused. Maybe not intentionally, but once your child gets to be morbidly obese, once your child gets to be 300 pounds as a teenager, and you don't do everything you can to stop that, you are in fact abusing them. That it is. It's child abuse. I really believe that. It is child abuse. I wish that we could get there in society because nobody wants to admit this. Like, here's the thing. If an adult feeds both a child and a dog to morbid obesity, society steps in and takes the dog away from them. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is. Like, if a person feeds both their child and their dog to the point where they can barely walk, they will take the dog away from the person, but not the child. That's society right now. I mean, that's where we're at. Because nobody can be told, if you guys want to follow me on the MFNCOO on Twitter, there's a whole thing. Earlier today, somebody was trying to say that you can be healthy, you can be fat and healthy. No, you cannot be morbidly obese and healthy. People need to get there. They absolutely need to get there. And there's a bunch of these fat acceptance people that are super fucking pissed at me telling the truth. I mean, obviously, by the way, in the same chain, like in almost two comments back to back, one person was like, "Well, you use steroids," and other person was like, "Well, you're underweight." Like, pick one. They're so funny when you argue with them. As someone who was 300 pounds at 15, I would 100% agree with classifying childhood obesity as child abuse. Would have saved me years of issues. Thankfully, I'm 190 now, and after learning how to manage my own. Good for you. That's good for fucking you. Good for you. No shit. When my brother started eating way too much and becoming sedentary at 14 years old, my parents forced him to join track and change his habits. He hated them for it at first, but it changed his life. That's good parenting right there. That is good parenting right there. No shit. But that's where we're at. And we're talking about weight loss surgery for teens now. I mean, hang on a second. See something crazy? crazy talk. I'm not even going to put that up. I find it so... Am I linking what to their obesity? The abuse? Yes, absolutely, 100%. And they're being abused with food in some way. Like, that is abuse. You are damaging a person's future life. You absolutely are. You know how fucked up hormones get for a person who's morbidly obese to begin with? I am absolutely stating that if you have a 15-year-old 300-pound kid, they've been abused with food, likely in other ways too. Because I mean, there's something emotionally going on, but what the fuck? That is abuse. To not do something about it, you are just going to let your child eat themselves to death? Because that's what it is. People need to get there. Eating yourself into morbid obesity, eating yourself into illness, eating yourself into chronic illness is abuse. I mean, like, if you're an adult and you are morbidly obese and you continue to eat in a way that you are morbidly obese, especially after the last 2 years, knowing that obesity is a huge factor in lifestyle-driven illness and the comorbidities that lead to the pandemic. Because the thing is, if you take something that would in other ways be minimally, it has very little effect on healthy people, but if you're morbidly obese, you have a way greater chance of dying, and you don't change that shit, I mean, you have a problem. Huge problem. It's actually really funny to date now, and the same people who parroted body positivity will say stretch marks, loose skin are a deal breaker. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy stuff. Yes, I agree. Obesity is a serious disease that needs to be treated. It is a form of abuse. 90% of people in hospitals are there because of lifestyle. Exactly. Yes, it's abuse. It may not be intentional, and it may not, and it's not violent, but it's still abusive to the body. Absolutely. As a fitness expert, what would you recommend? What would you recommend performing the big 5 lifts during the same training session? Would I recommend it? I've often done it, but I mean, I don't do that kind of coaching, training, or even consider myself to be too experty when it comes to that. I am a best-selling author and weight loss expert. Absolutely. But that sort of thing, I write intermediate programs that have trained me well. I don't do that kind of coaching. Would I do the big 5 lifts during the same training session? Sure, I'm sure I have. But would I recommend it as a program? Probably not. But again, I don't do that kind of coaching. Correct, not intentional, but it's still abuse. Absolutely, it's absolutely abusive, 100%. All right, so I'm going to take Q&A. Type 2 diabetes is on the rise, and the age it hits is dropping. We must stop this trend. The wave of type 2 diabetes that is coming in the next few years after the great fattening of 2020 is going to be crushing to what is left of this fucking system we call healthcare, which is actually sick care. The sick care system is the actual fucking issue. Nobody talks about preventative healthcare at all. Healthcare is taking care of your health individually as a person. It should be seen as a personal responsibility. It should be seen as a patriotic duty to keep yourself healthy when, in fact, we all share healthcare costs and the burden on the healthcare system. We don't want to overload the healthcare system, so everybody needs to lock themselves in their houses and fucking wear face diapers, facial decoration. If you think for a second that 86% of the burden on the healthcare system being chronic illness related, and 90% of that just about being lifestyle driven, not one time did any of these public health officials talk about lifestyle driven illness and making sure you get healthy and lose weight and watch what you eat. The healthcare system has fucking failed America. Those in charge of it are fucking sellouts and fucking charlatans. It is disgusting to me that we have not in some way helped people get themselves healthier on their own. I said this on Twitter and I mean it. 2 years ago, if Mark Lobliner and myself, my business partner Mark, if we were put in charge of the public health of the country, we could have saved the country trillions of dollars and likely 1 million lives by now. But instead, everybody locked down, get fucking fatter, and order DoorDash. That's fucking stupidity. It's so stupid. It's people that are supposed to be smart did and suggested doing shit so stupid it had to be on purpose, in my opinion, of course. I want evidence-backed clinical practices. I want evidence-backed clinical practice to obesity. For some people, it's lifestyle issues like stress, poor knowledge, anxiety, time management, and for others, it's more serious like addiction. I completely agree. What's the pharmaceutical insurance ROI on preventative health care? Yeah, very little. Very little. Very little. It's complicated, and it's not always down to the lack of willpower. I agree, but it being complicated does not mean that you should not take personal responsibility for it. If you need help with your willpower, get it. But I will say this, it is still very much, very much so, personal responsibility. It's not one person is it out of their control to not be morbidly obese. Not one person. There's nobody that cannot lose weight. Everybody can possibly eat less, move more. Not one person. Now, there are many times where a person can't seem to do it because of emotional or physical issues, but they would need to address those, and their failure to be able to address those. I'm not saying everybody can with their resources, but the failure to address those issues makes it possible. But not one person could not change their physical outcome. Not one. I always thought my grandparents ate like garbage, hamburgers, butter, meatloaf, etc., but they lived at 90 and are still going healthy since they ate all that. Exactly. Any updates on the next episode of the Gamescast? We are waiting to hear back from YouTube. You are responsible for what you put in your body. Exactly. It's the same thing like people like, I can't afford healthy food, therefore I'm fat. Eat less of the unhealthy food you're eating. You lose weight. I mean, like if you're eating 4,000 calories of crap, you'd still lose weight if you ate 2,000 calories of that same crap. What the fuck? I mean, it's like the suspension of reality. You know, it's ridiculous. So we've talked about this today. I'll probably just the topics for the rest of the week. By the way, tomorrow will probably be more of a let's check out some other people's content and talk about it. I spend less and eat much healthier. No shit. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, last night we ate deliciously. We had like pork and sticky rice and peanut sauce, and it was fucking like under $10 for the two of us. For the two of us, it was fucking crazy. Anyway, last couple questions, then I'm going to call it a day, folks. I've actually got some prep cooking I need to do for myself, and I'm going to eat a little bit of steak while I cook. Where did I go from there? Seriously, I spend almost $400 a month when I was bigger, and now I spend barely $150. Good for you. Good for you. People don't get that. People really don't understand. I thought you were a pescatarian. What about what's this about steak? I haven't been pescatarian in shit since almost the beginning of the pandemic. I started feeling very like when I started developing the hunger management system. Well, when Chris and I started developing the hunger management system, one of the things was I was starting to feel very restricted in what I could eat. So that would cause me to binge. So we added meat back in, and I've been feeling much better about it for it anyway. But no, I haven't been pescatarian in almost 2 years. So, and I was pescatarian because I didn't like. I thought meat was messing with my stomach. It really has not been. It's been pretty good to me lately. But I'm so glad you're eating steak again. Me too. This may be off topic, but I'm on a bulk and I'm finding it hard to find calorically dense, high quality proteins. Do you have any recommendations? I love your channel. Eggs, steak, pork, chicken. I think people confuse eating healthy food as in the engineered healthy food like protein bars. No, healthy food is eat whole foods. Whole meats, fish, eggs, protein, vegetables, fruits. If you stick with that, in proper, and then you can work on the portion from there. Anyway, we have, last question. Anybody? Bueller? Going once, going twice? I'll be doing some other topics here later on this week. Again, tomorrow, 1 p.m. I hope everybody has a great motherfucking day. God damn.